It's that time once again for another top. This one's going to be a top 5, but it kind of spiraled out of control. Now, the PS Vita is one of my favourite consoles of all time. It is essentially an RPG machine. Now, I was going to do a top 5 RPG list for the PS Vita, but once I got researching into it and looking into it, it spiraled. So this is going to be my top 15 RPGs for the PS Vita. Let's go!
Let's begin. And in at number 15 we have Exist Archive, The Other Side of the Sky. Now this JRPG was released for the PS Vita back in 2016 and was published by Spike's Chunsoft and was developed by Tri-Ace. Now this is actually seen as a spiritual successor to the Valkyrie Profile series because of the gameplay, as it's a side-scrolling JRPG. Now in this you will follow 12 youths who have been killed in an explosion and have found themselves in this weird, wonderful planet. Now the good thing is there is definitely replayability with this game, as there is different endings available dependent on the actions that you take with your character. Anyway, if you do get the chance to play this game, definitely pick it up. And in at number 14 we have Cosmic Star Heroine, which was released by Zeboyd Games. Now the game was originally released in 2017 for the PlayStation 4, but got later ported to the PS Vita in 2018, and it has seen various ports to other consoles since. Now this RPG is an indie RPG which has got combat similar to Chrono Trigger, so that'll tickle the fancy of a lot of JRPG fans. And in this game you will be following the adventures of Alisa, who is an agent of the Agency of Peace and Intelligence. This is an awesome game, great humour in it, and Zeboyd Games always nails the humours in their games. So if you do get the chance, you know what I'll say to you, get it played. And in at number 13 we have World of Final Fantasy, which is a spin-off of, yes you guessed it, Final Fantasy. Now the game was released for PS Vita and PS4 back in 2016 and I remember when this game was announced right before the Final Fantasy VII remake was announced at E3. Anyway, now this game was for the 30th anniversary of the Final Fantasy series. And in this game you will be playing as Lan and Rin, who are going through the world of Grinmore. I've probably pronounced that wrong, but it is essentially kind of like a Pokemon clone. You will capture different Final Fantasy characters and you will stack them on your heads and use them in turn-based combat. Now don't let the cuteness get to you, because I tell you what, this can be a pretty tough game at times, but definitely worth a play. And in at number 12 we have Tales of Hearts R, which was released for the PS Vita in 2013 in Japan and the rest of the world in 2014. And if you didn't know, this game was originally a Nintendo DS game which got remade for the Vita. And in JRPG fashion you will be following someone with the most bizarre name, Core Meteor, as he travels the world of Organica. Seriously, where did these names come from? Anyway, this is a standard Tales of game. With any Tales of game, the combat is always really tight and there's no difference here. It is definitely worth a pickup and definitely worth your time. I really enjoyed my time with this, and so will you. And in at number 11 we have Ys Origin, which was released for the PlayStation Vita in 2017. However, this game originally came out for Windows in 2006. Now, this game is a prequel to the Ys series 700 years before the main events of the first game, so in this you will not be playing as Adol Christian as a protagonist, but in this game there's actually 3 available protagonists to play as. This is a fast-paced action RPG. Awesome music as always from Falcom. Definitely worth your time with this, and you will get lots of replayability with having those 3 different characters to play as. And in at number 10 we have Freedom Wars, which is a PlayStation Vita exclusive released back in 2014. The game is set in the year 10,2014. Yes, that's a very big number, and the world is pretty much in ruins. And being born in society basically puts you in prison. And you basically have to work that sentence off of 1 million years. And by doing this, it's taking on monsters and killing them. Now, the best way to describe this is similar to a Monster Hunter style game where you take on big beasts in the open land. Definitely worth a pickup, and it's shocking that this is still a Vita exclusive, and maybe one day there'll be a sequel to it. Let's just see. And in at number 9 we have Ys Memories of Celceta, which is another Falcom RPG featuring Adol Christian. And as I mentioned just there, that this is a action RPG, so there's lots of fast-paced action. And this is actually a remake as such of the Ys 4, which was originally out in the 1990s. Now in this you will wake up with amnesia and you will be exploring the forests of Celceta. This game is highly recommended from me. And in at number 8 we have Odin Sphere, which was released for the PlayStation Vita in 2016 by Atlas and created by the kings of artwork, Vanillaware. Now this game is a 2D side-scroller, which is effectively a beat-em-up style game. Now this game definitely has replayability as there's multiple characters to play through on this game. And the music is awesome, but the standout in all of this is the artwork. Vanillaware are well known for doing hand-drawn games, and this is the epitome of it. It's just awesome. So if you do get the chance, as always, get it played. And in at number 7 we have Tokyo Xanadu, which was released for the PlayStation Vita originally in 2015 in Japan and in the rest of the world in 2017. And once again, it is a Falcom game. Can you see a trend coming on here? Now the best way to describe Tokyo Xanadu is essentially the Ys series meets Persona. So you've got that free-flow action combat system whilst dungeon crawling, and the Persona aspect of managing everyday life within a high school area. Now as I mentioned with any other Falcom game, the music in this is top notch. The game in general is just fantastic. I absolutely love this game. If you do get the chance, well, you know what I'm going to tell you now, get it played! And in at number 6 we have the Final Fantasy X and 10-2 HD Remaster, which was released on the PlayStation Vita in 2014. Now, what else can be said about this game? Final Fantasy X is utterly fantastic. It is one of the best Final Fantasy games out there. Now, I have actually got a video on the channel at the start of JRPG month talking about why you should play this game. But the other thing here is that it's a bit of a twofer, because you also get in this Final Fantasy X Part 2. I don't really have much experience with that game because I tend just to not go near it, but I will get round to it at some point. But yeah, definitely play this game. And in at number 5 we have VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana. What a name for a game! And this game was released for the PlayStation Vita in 2016. And would you believe it? It's another Falcom game. So, with any other VIII game, it is an action-based combat system. And you will fall in love with this game. You will be following Adol once again as he is marooned on the island of Siren. Now, as always, music is fantastic, gameplay is fantastic. There is other ways of playing this game that is available on the PlayStation 4, Windows, Switch and PlayStation 5. So there's no excuse not to play this game either way. And in at number 4 we have Gravity Rush, which was released for the PlayStation Vita back in 2012, and I will say that this is one of my all-time favourite games. And in this game you will be following Kat, who has lost all her memories and has obtained the powers of gravity shifting. Now, in this game, this takes full control of the PlayStation Vita using the tilt controls, etc. And I'll be honest with you, the combat in this is fantastic and the soundtrack is just unbelievable. The song Old Town is one of my all-time favourite songs in any game. It's so relaxed and so chilled out. The game in general is just brilliant. Anyway, there is other ways to play this as well. There was a remastered version, came out on the PlayStation 4 in 2016. So, you don't really have an excuse not to play it. In at number 3 we have The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. The game was originally released in Japan in 2013 and then was localised and released on PlayStation Vita in 2015. And guess what? It's another Falcom game! So expect excellent gameplay here, expect excellent music, expect an excellent story. And speaking of that story, you will be following Schwarzer and Class 7 through Erebonia. Now, this game does have twists and turns all the way through and is definitely worth your time. And in at number 2, it is The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2. We return back to Erebonia with Schwarzer and the rest of Class 7 following the events of the first game. Now, I'm not going to tell you those events because that is very heavy spoiler territory. And now, before I forget, this game was released for the PlayStation Vita and the PlayStation 3 back in 2016. However, there has been further versions released for the PlayStation 4 and there has been a Nintendo Switch port for the Asia region. So here's hoping that you'll get another port coming to the Nintendo Switch for the West. But as I mentioned previous, this is another Falcom game, so you know what to expect. And in at number 1 is Persona 4 Golden, because, well, of course it was going to be number 1. I have spoken about this game in great length on one of my previous videos, which I will link in the description down below. Now, the game was released back in 2013 for the PlayStation Vita and is a remake remaster of the original Persona 4. Now, when this game came out, this was one of the main reasons that people bought a PlayStation Vita. It was stuck on that system for a long time, only up until recently, and it is getting ported to the Switch and the PlayStation in the next year. So get yourself ready to visit Inaba with the mystery team, solve murders, go dungeon crawling, and even go through school. This game is essential for any PlayStation Vita owner. and I hope you will play it soon. Thank you for watching the video, and please remember to like and subscribe. Tatty bye!